you're listening to Card Shop Talk or watching it, whatever you may be doing.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, some people got to work in the mornings.
I'm the figment of your imagination, named Steven.
I'm real.
And this is the real deal, Bobby.
Yeah, Easy B.
That's his street name, Easy B.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking a little bit more about Standard Showdown. We talked about it earlier on in one of our previous episodes. But Bobby has some new perspectives. See what I did there? On kind of how the weekend went.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. Bobby, you're going to start talking about it, though, because there's some background noise, and I got to take care of it. Hold
on. Okay. So we actually had a successful Standard Showdown this weekend. We had 8 people show up.
8 people?
Yeah, 8. I was one of those 8.
Hey, that's fine.
So we had 7 people show up, but I picked up and brought out the Gear Hulkamania and dropped some Gear Hulks from the top rope.
Nice.
It was pretty nice.
That's one of the perks of working at a game store, I feel. I don't pay anybody enough, not because I don't want to, just because it's not viable. And so the trade-off is you get to play games sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean,
once every, 3 or 4 years.
Well, I really want our events to fire off. And when you have 8 people, it makes for a better event than having someone sit around doing nothing.
You really, that's what we try to avoid is I never want somebody to drive all the way out to the store, have a deck ready, get ready to play some Magic, and then, round 1, 2, or 3 not have an opponent. It happens sometimes. It's unavoidable. But if it's not too busy behind the counter and you can be that 8th person or that 10th person or whatever to make sure that somebody has a good experience, in my opinion, it's worth it. We're like in one of our previous videos, I explained, we're not a huge store, so it's like not always busy here. And there's usually enough time to get in a game or two. Can you play games the whole time you're here? No.
No, it's not all sunshine and rainbows like.
But every now and then you get some sunshine and rainbows. So that's good.
I mean, you get to play Magic and show people that yes, indeed, you do know how to read and know how to play cards.
No, we don't know how to read.
No, I am completely illiterate.
That's not true.
Yeah. I just guess based off the card art, and if my opponent tells me I'm wrong, I believe him.
I actually played a guy against who was illiterate, and he memorized what the cards did by the pictures, and he beat me. He was a good player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you make up for your handicap however you can.
Yeah.
Being illiterate is worse than illiteration, though.
Alliteration?
Illiteration.
Alliteration? I think it's alliteration.
Is it?
Yeah. But we're going down a dark road here because alliterations are awesome.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. So Standard Showdown was good. You did you mention you got a couple new players too?
Yeah, I got a couple new players. That's another part of the reason why I joined in is, if someone comes into the store, their first and only interaction with anyone in the store is with the person behind the counter.
Yep.
So they tend to want to talk to that person because that's the only one in the room they know.
Yep.
Even if they just met you.
And we're just naturally friendly. So
we have to be if we want to eat.
Well, yeah. Yes.
It's just part of it. It makes the day easier too when you're friendly with your players.
Yeah. Although it's fun to be grumpy too. Just ask me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Is it fun to be grumpy? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is indeed. But yeah, having new players come in, it was their first ever organized event, and unfortunately, the Gear Hulks came hard and fast. And
you played Gear. Oh, that's right.
Gear Hulkamania. Yeah, my first round opponent. He learned a lot of new things about the game, and we talked about tournament etiquette and just many things about deck construction and all that. And I think he come away with a better perspective on the game. And
which, if you're a new player, you should definitely go to organized play events because you will learn a ton about the game, and it will make it more enjoyable for you most of the time.
It's a good way to find out if that's a store you want to be at too, because if they don't have time to help you out, then they don't need your money. Yeah. It's just
you're better off going somewhere else. Unless it's the only game store in the area, which if you're looking to open a game store, I recommend opening a game store in a place where there are no other game stores, because then you're the only option.
And be friendly with your players, because that's how you get people to come back.
Yeah.
Is be nice to them, even if you do beat them pretty handily in your tournaments, be nice to them. You know, help them out with their deck. Show them where they went wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a really good standard showdown. I ended up going 2-1. I got beat by Control, which
was it the second son?
No, it was blue white hard control. Just you know, Immolating Glare, Blessed Alliance, Negate, Remand,
Blue Gear Hulk.
Censor, Blue Gear Hulk. I beat it when it was in control mode because that's my worst matchup. But then he swapped over after board to an aggro version of it with Gideon Ally of Zendikar and many other things.
Which is a good strat, you know.
And
you're not ready for that.
I named Disallow with my Gideon's intervention, and he boarded out his disallows.
Ooh.
So
there's the rub on Gideon's intervention.
But I also had a really bad land base at the time. I was basically playing mono black. You can't survive in a 3-color deck if you're only getting swamps.
Land screwed. Yeah.
You're only getting swamps. It's rough. And then game 3 I missed 2 land drops. So
that happens.
Gideon puts on a fast clock. No land drops, no reanimation spells, no Gear Hulks.
That's no good.
Not playing Magic. No good.
Oh, speaking of standard showdown, by the way, Wizards of the Coast in a asked kind of game stores in a survey if they thought that stores would have better attendance if they were able to hold standard showdown on a different day other than Saturday, and a lot of people said yes, they would. So maybe they'll change the rules on that, and we won't have to hold it on Saturday. Which I think would also increase our attendance, because people on Saturdays, there's either a big tournament going on, like a PPTQ, or something kind of in the surrounding area, at least for the community here in Knoxville, Tennessee. If there's something big going on, that pulls a lot of players, and so it's hard to kind of like get together enough people on a Saturday. However, I would kind of be sad if they stopped forcing us to have it on Saturday, because then we would go back to not being able to hold any events on Saturday, because there's no amount of anything that you can do unless you're doing a larger event to kind of get people to come out on a Saturday. I
think they also noticed that it was a weird overlap with game day to have standard showdown and
that
game
was
day.
Weird.
Like game days are usually on the weekend, and it's like they're
always overlap with pre-release and stuff like that. All the special events happen on Saturdays, but it is nice to kind of have something regular to fall back on. Because I mean, I can't remember a Saturday where I haven't gotten a call at some point during the day. Hey, do you have any Magic events going on today? And unfortunately, the answer is usually no, because there's something big going on. We kind of, I mean, until Wizards of the Coast came out with Standard Showdown, we kind of given up on trying to run anything on Saturday, because there's either a huge event going on, or even if there wasn't, people just didn't want to come out on Saturday for Magic, because they had been, basically all the customers had been trained not to up until that point, just in the Magic community. So I'm thankful for Standard Showdown being on Saturday, but I would be okay with them switching it up.
And League is pretty nice to have League back again.
Magic League is the best Magic League we've ever had. The cartouche box has really pushed it over the top.
That we do D&D, and we have some crossover with that with our Magic groups, and they come in and they're like, well, we're waiting on our table. How about we play some League games? And it's somebody loses 3 times and we sell a pack.
Hey, and that's the other thing. It's cheap to get into, you know, and it's casual, low pressure, you know, and it's enjoyable because everybody gets access to kind of like that limited pool. So you have that limited feel to it. It's almost like playing a pre-release deck, just over subsequent weeks and stuff like that. So we've never done as much League as we have this time around, and I'm glad we finally kind of like took the jump and really tried to push it and stuff. It's turned out great. Yeah, we get to sell a few extra packs and stuff like that, but it's also nice just to have something that people can play whenever they come into the store, that everybody is kind of doing. Because even if you don't have a League deck, you buy a 3 for $10 and you have a League deck. Congratulations.
You get a cool box and a D4.
You get a cool box, and we give away D4s when you come in. Get your thing, because it's on the little checklist.
Yep. Finish that little checklist and get
We
Lazotep
didn't get
D4.
we didn't get enough of those, but I hear somebody's coming out with more. Somebody's making more of those Lazotep. I think Ultra Pro. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't know anything.
What's going on your Facebook?
Damn it.
Steven says, Ultra Pro's making Lazotep D4s,
I thought
quote unquote.
Ultra Pro. This is a depressing thing. I thought Ultra Pro was a purely American company. So this is let's go down a rabbit hole and stuff like that because we went to a convention. I met some of the folks from Ultra Pro. They're really good people, and the company is American based, but a lot of their sleeves are made over in China, which was depressing to me because I thought that they made all their sleeves in America, which meant that they had fewer lulls between like running out of something and being able to restock it. Because if you don't have to go through customs on the coast, you know, for your sleeve delivery or whatever, then you just make the stuff and ship it out. It's faster distribution, but more expensive in a lot of other ways.
Ultimate Guard's a prime example of what happens when infrastructure goes down and then.
But it happens to everybody. It happens.
It does.
I mean, Ultimate Guard, they came out with like a new hot sleeve and everybody wanted it and nobody could get it because it was held up in customs.
And the ship got in a hurricane.
There was a ship that got in a hurricane, yeah.
And another one sunk or something. It was a big mess.
It was.
And they were like 6 months behind on shipments. And
we finally got them in. They're good sleeves.
Yeah, they're great. They're a good price point, decent quality, you know. They're not Eclipse sleeves.
Right. And so this is how I learned all of this. So when Ultra Pro came out with the Eclipses, I was like, oh, I'll be able to get these easily because in my mind, I thought for some reason they were going to be shipping out of the United States.
Yeah.
And turns out no. So they sold out because I don't think Ultra Pro foresaw everybody wanting these sleeves as much. So they sold out. They had to put in a restock order, but of course that ships from overseas, China, assumedly. And so it takes forever to get here. We're still waiting on most of the colors to get here to the United States. I think if you're a big boy, you probably have better access maybe to the Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeve wave. But for a store our size, we can't get them out of our distributors just yet.
Didn't they tell us that they sealed those sleeves with sound? Wasn't it like an ultrasonic seal or something like that?
I have no idea. But that sounds great.
I remember them talking about. I think I'm like 90% sure it was the Ultra Pro rep that was telling us that the sleeve is actually sealed by ultrasonic waves. Like it just heats it up and melts it. I remember thinking
that's some next level stuff.
Yeah, I remember thinking that sounds like future tech, and Ultra Pro probably doesn't have it, but if they do, great, and that makes for a great seal on those because they do stand up really well. Yeah. Now I don't know that they'll ever be big in the EDH community just because of
they come in packs of 80. If they ever release like a 100 pack
and the price point and everything.
Yeah. If they release a 100 pack, the problem is if they release a 100 pack, nobody will buy the 80 packs anymore.
Ever again.
Because it's $2. Right now, the price point is $7.99 for 80 sleeves, so it's 10 cents a sleeve. If you take it up to $10 and give people 100 sleeves, everybody will buy the 100 pack.
Yeah.
Because EDH players are like, need 100 sleeves for your 100 card deck. And other Magic players are just like, why not buy the more sleeves so that I can have more backups?
For now, Dragon Shield's going to remain EDH king.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing because the Dragon Shield sleeves are
Dragon
great.
Shields are high quality. Matte, everybody's on that matte train.
Oh, yeah. Double matte. Pretty soon they'll be like Oreos. They'll be triple matte.
Matte. Yeah.
Like wrong color matte.
Eventually the perfect fit will just be attached to the regular sleeve. So it's like, why bother? And you just put it in there.
There'll be mint matte, like the Oreos, strawberry matte, inside out matte.
Oh my gosh. $1 million idea, everybody. Listen, whoever picks up on this, you're going to be super rich. Scratch and sniff sleeves. Holy crap.
Can you imagine?
Smells like Gideon.
Can you imagine if you're like a Merfolk player and you scratch it and it smells like tuna?
Oh my gosh.
Like
you can make a fish scented sleeve.
Something smells fishy in here. Curse catcher.
Tilapia guy. Sorry. So anyway, you heard it here first, folks. Scratch and sniff sleeves.
So I used to have these
They're
sleeves
gonna be amazing.
for EDH that had pancakes on them, and it said the short stack on it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get the joke, 100 pack. They were Legion, I think.
Legion makes those.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine if they were scratch and sniff and they smelled like maple syrup?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
If somebody can figure out, because like we've got scratch and sniff stickers, right?
yeah.
Scratch and sniff sleeves, guys.
So
Oh my gosh.
many years ago, I had a regular
That's the
player
idea right there.
who kept all of his cards. He had this like tin box
Mm-hmm.
that had Belgian chocolate in it at some point in time in his past,
Mm-hmm.
like high-end Belgian chocolate.
Yeah.
And he kept all of his decks in it.
So all his decks smell like chocolate.
They all smelled wonderful. Like they smelled like high-quality dark chocolate, and it was kind of distracting actually.
I mean, it would be like the summer craze if people made scratch and sniff sleeves. It would get old fast. Like
Oh
trust
yeah,
me.
no, it would.
Like everybody, like my deck smells like Jolly Ranchers.
So
Oh.
the thing about scratch and sniff is every time you shuffle,
They'd wear out,
you'd smell. They
but
might
you'd
wear it
smell
out,
it.
but
Yeah.
you'd still smell it. And after the first 2 days, they don't smell anymore, and you just
Man.
have sleeves.
Yeah, but you would like throw your opponent for a loop when you like started shuffling your Merfolk deck and it smelled like tuna fish.
Uh,
Like they might think they were having a stroke, which is not okay.
Well, so you don't necessarily want to make abrasive smells like fish, but like if your
Dude,
yellow sleeve smelled like banana
get
or
Harry
something.
Potter in on this and make him Bert's Bots magic sleeves.
Oh man.
Is it Bert's Beans? Bert's Bots? I can't even remember. Please don't. Harry Potter fandom, please don't come after me.
I'll start a storm. I've never seen a Harry Potter movie.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We're gonna edit that part out. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
That's a storm.
Okay. So, yeah. I can't get off this train. One. Speaking of late shipments and waiting for things to distribute across the U.S. Um, who is it? Gale Force 9. If you're listening,
Oh,
please, for the love of God, just make all the spell cards, man. You've got the license. You've got Wizards of the Coast permission to make spell cards. I need you to always have spell cards in stock in all the U.S. distributors, and the reason why is because we sell them, and if you're a store and you don't carry Gale Force 9 spell card sleeves, you should, or not spell card sleeves, but the actual cards themselves, you should. What it does is it makes it very easy for the players to have a physical media kind of representation of all the abilities that their character has, no matter what class they are. So that's amazing, one. But it also makes it so that they don't have to like turn to digital devices to be able to pull up quickly information that they want access to. And that's good for us as a store because we want them to buy physical books and physical spell cards and things like that and not have to use tablets and beg us to connect to the Wi-Fi so that they can get their PDF that they hacked off of like the Pirate Bay to look at their spells and play their game. We want them to support the store.
and now that you've requested that of Gale Force 9, I
Yeah.
would like to request something of Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, go for it.
You're a card company, primarily. If Gale Force 9 can't do it, you do it.
Yeah. I don't know how
I don't know how
I don't know how that
relationship
works.
came
I
about.
have no idea how that works. But if it's a contract and it has a term limit, when the limit expires, please just do it yourself.
Make your own cards. You're a card company.
Like
your
you'll
primary
make all the money.
income for Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, just tack it on as an additional order. Whenever a new set comes out, make new spell cards.
Yeah.
Like, and oh my gosh, I mean, they've got the Unearthed Arcana stuff. If they just start like putting little Unearthed Arcana spell packs and stuff like that into the mix, people will lose their minds.
If you go on Amazon right
You will
now
make so much money.
and try to buy the spell cards online on Amazon, they're anywhere from $120 to $200 a pack.
Yeah, and nobody's buying. I mean, nobody's buying them for that.
Yeah, there's only
you
like
absolutely have to have it.
2 to 4 available of each kind, and no one. It's just scalping is all it is, and they're just unaccessible.
Yeah. So pro tip, Wizards of the Coast, if you want to make more money and make your investors happy, then just take over spell card printing, and just anytime every time a new book comes out, just make a teeny little pack of spell cards and and put them at whatever price you want because people will buy them.
I
Just go
promise.
nuts. Yeah. I mean, don't rip people off because then they'll get angry and stuff like that. But seriously.
And we'll bear the brunt of that.
Yeah. Don't do that to us. Wizards of the Coast. Anyway, we got off on a little tangent there, but Saturn
Yeah.
Showdown's good. Things coming from China. I
They
mean,
don't call it a slow boat from China for no
it's a
reason.
slow boat from China. Um, and this is, we have a very limited understanding of how things work outside of the game store, like how we get product in and stuff like that. Our main line of communication is with distributors. So when I call a distributor and say, hey, do you have this? They go, it's out of stock at the manufacturer, which usually means they don't have it, and if they're going to make more, it's going to take a while because they have to go through the whole production process again, put in an order with some kind of print company, and that's usually overseas because it's so cheap to get it printed somewhere else in vast quantities and then boat it over to the US and pay all the custom fees and whatever else. That's just how it works. And that's my understanding of it. Somebody else might have a better understanding of how that whole process works, and feel free to enlighten us in the comments and tell us how dumb we are. But from what I understand, when somebody's out of something and they're reprinting it, it's usually happening overseas. It has to get shipped here to the U.S. It has to go through customs. Has to, then get shipped out to all the distributors. And then the distributors have to take it in, and then they have to ship it out. And so if it's not readily in stock and they're waiting on a restock, sometimes it can take a long time. As it is with the Eclipse sleeves and the spell cards. What a bummer.
Bummer, indeed.
I told you were going to talk a lot this time, and then I started talking a lot.
No, it's fine. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Hashtag we're good. Is that all we want to talk about today?
Well, I think so. I think it's good.
Okay. Well, this has been Card Shop Talk. I'm
Yeah.
Steven.
And I'm Bobby.
Thanks for watching or listening. Have a wonderful day.